Welcome to Foley Systems. I'm Blake. Today, we're setting up a virtual machine on VMware ESXi, one of the most powerful hypervisors for enterprise and home environments. Let's get that VM up and running. So, what we'll first do is navigate to the IP address of the installation or ESXi host, accept the security risk, insert our default root username and password you set during installation, and it should bring you to this. Now, if you haven't set the host name or domain name, we can do that by going to Network, TCP IP Stacks, Default TCP IP Stack, Edit, Manually Configure, and of course, enter the host name, domain name, your DNS servers, your gateways, and your search domains. Click Save. We have successfully given it the domain name and a machine name. Now, the next thing is to assign your license. This is very important if you want to keep using ESXi past its 90-day, I do so believe 90 days uh, evaluation mode period. So do that. We'll go under Manage Licensing, Assign License, insert your entire license key, click Check License. It'll show if it's valid. Click Assign. And since this is not an important ESXi host, I'm not going to do that for this instance. But next thing we need to do is go under our storage. We need to create a new data store. Data store is how the virtual machines are stored. They're stored within directories on a data store. Think of the data store as just a root directory of Linux, and then you have subdirectories built on top of that. Your virtual machines are sub. So make sure your devices are all there, your storage devices. So this bottom one, 80 gigabyte, that's my ESXi installation. Sometimes it'll show it, sometimes it won't. And then right here is the usable disk. So we're going to click. There's two ways you do it. You click on the disk itself, click New Data Store, or you go under Data Stores, click New Data Store. We'll create a new VMFS, Virtual Machine File Systems Data Store. We'll select our drive. As you can see, the ESXi installation drive does not show. We'll give it a name. So this is the name of the data store. We'll call it main. And you select your virtual machine file system version. 6 is the latest. We'll click that. You could do a custom or full disk. I will warn you, if there's any information on this disk, it's best to back that up because once you create a new data store on a disk, it will wipe off its data, at least pointer locations of that data. We'll click Finish. As it will tell you, your entire contents of DITs are about to be erased and replaced. That's okay with us. Give it a couple seconds. And voila, there's our main data store. You can browse it. As you can see, there's nothing in there. Go ahead and create an directory. And we're just going to call it ISO. So this is where we're going to store all of our ISO images. And we're going to go ahead and upload an ISO. So I'm going to do my Linux server. As you can tell, right here on the right side, it is currently uploading the file. And I'll get back with you once it's done uploading. And I'm back. As we can see, the ISO image has been uploaded successfully. You could delete it, download it, move it, or copy it if you just right click on it. Well, you have those options there. If you want to be more organized, you can add another directory. You can say Linux and then move your ISO to Linux. And as you see, successful. But once you get your ISO uploaded, we'll go over here to the Virtual Machines tab, Create Size Select Register. Select Create a new virtual machine, unless you have one, unless you're deploying a virtual machine from OVF or OVA file, or register existing virtual machine. This option is create new. You'll just freshly create the virtual machine. This one is, for instance, Palo Alto virtual appliance or a load master virtual appliance, Cisco even have OVAs. You'll click that, select the OVA with the virtual machine disk file, and then upload that, and it will auto deploy for you. Or register an existing. This one is if you have a virtual machine in a data store, but it's not here on your virtual machine's management page. But for this instance, we're creating a new virtual machine. Give it a name, Ubuntu server. You'll select the compatibility, which it should be all the way up to the latest. Our guest OS family is Linux, and this is Ubuntu. So scroll down, find Ubuntu Linux. Mine is a 64-bit edition. We'll select the main and customization. This is where you can add another hard disk, network adapters, or even serial ports, a USB device, NVMe controller. You name it, you can add it. For this instance of Ubuntu, we're going to give it 4 gigs. So here in the memory tab, you could drop it down or keep it compressed. If you just want to give it a certain amount of megabytes, you can. Gigabytes, even terabytes. Same for the hard drive, megabytes, gigabyte, terabytes. If you drop down, you could do reservation. Reservation means it will register the full entirety. So this will reserve the entirety of the 4 gigabytes. Or in this case, it looks like 8 gigabytes. Your shares, don't have to worry about, as this is going to be a basic setup. Your virtual disk 1, you'll give it a size, say 50. Thick provision, lazily zeroed, means it's going to take that space now. You can do thin provision, which means it's going to say, hey, you have 50 gigabytes, but it won't consume that 50 gigabytes of that virtual store, your data store. Now it will take over time consume it. It's really a decision up to you. If you start creating virtual machines on one data store, I recommend just do the thick provisioned. Over here in the SCSI controller, we're going to select LSI logical SAS, which logical SAS is the fastest connection. It will give you the fastest read and write speeds because it's a SAS connection. Parallel logic, it's a little slower than SAS. Kind of could think of it as a old SATA hard drive. VMware from VMware is a mix. It's really handy in some case scenarios, especially if VMware products on here like vCenter. From my experience, at least in test, I found that logical SAS was the fastest connection for me. USB doesn't really matter. You don't even have to have USB on there. Your network adapter, you'll select the network you set up in that switch, which we haven't messed with yet. So it'll be just VM network. Instead of host device, we'll click data store. So this is going to be for ISO. So you'll select data store if you put ISO on the data store. And it will give it a location. Video card, if you have a video card you're sharing, like an NVIDIA GPU, you can either pass that through to the virtual machine or share it. Now, if you do do a pass through, that virtual machine will display on that graphics card. We'll look it over, make sure everything looks correct. We click finish, give it a couple seconds, and there it is. We'll go ahead and click the big play button. So this is the only reason I'm getting the message is because this is a virtual machine on ESXi currently. But as soon as you press power on, it will work for you. And there you have it. Your virtual machine is now live on ESXi, ready to handle your workloads. If you found this helpful, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that bell for more tech content. See you in the next one.